Well, Wagwado Focarinos, and welcome back to another live stream. We're back with the Next Gen boys, of course, because it is a Wednesday, but we are on the final two races for the Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And NXTGEN L8GER is most certainly one to watch today as Stuart continues to get the most out of the number 46 Bentley. And he's currently been in pursuit of the other legend, HANKIN. And Professor Bean with a 123 currently at the top. And Kobe, just over a tenth and a half quicker than Stuart currently in free practice. But as per usual, I'm going to leave you with the sights and sounds that is the Next Gen GT3 World Tour cars here at Laguna Seca. And I will be back just before free practice finishes. And we will kick this party off. And again, final two races. The points are very, very, very close. This race is very much important to quite a few drivers here today. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to leave you with it, and I will see you soon. Ciao for now, brown cows. Alrighty. Thought I'd just pop on real quick and give you a little bit of a quick update with regards to the current standings. We've got Stewart in the number 46 Bentley, currently in first position with only 2 races to go. Round 12 was at Paul Ricard, round 13 today we're at Laguna Seca, and round 14, the finale, is a 2-hour stint at Spa with 24-hour timescale. 221 points, and in second place with 213 points is the number 44 Audi, and in current third position with 212 points, 1 point behind P2, is Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari. And Mr. Pincher, not quite here yet, but a very, very quick dude, 193 points. Professor with 176, Jamo 172, Hukan Lukan 150, and Lili 131 points. And we've got V-Spec 117, Nick with 109, Kevin with 106, Hempy with 100, and I believe Anun with 9 points. And of course it's an absolute pleasure to have the 369 BMW GT3 with us today. What a legend. He's finally got the number on the car. What a proud moment this is. Just listen to the sound of those cars. We've got a 34 Lexus making its way past the pits. Beautiful sound. So that was a quick little update with regards to what's going on. And yeah, I'm going to leave you again with the sights and sounds that is the GT3 car class, and I will see you in around 5-10 minutes. Ciao, ciao. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages and from around the world. Hello, it's your boy, TMK444, and we only have just over 3 minutes left to go of free practice, and I'm going to run through it again for you boys and girls. And hello to Mr. Pincher in chat. Are you not racing today? But I'm going to give you a quick update with regards to current series standings and who we need to be keeping an eye on today, because this is the second to last race of the NXGen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. We find ourselves at Laguna Seca today for the usual 60-hour sprint. And then next Wednesday is going to be the finale in which it will be a 2-hour event with a 24-hour in-game time clock. So currently leading the NXGen Season 3 GT3 World Tour is, drumroll please, I do need to upgrade my system so I can actually do all the stuff and give you a genuine drumroll, but for now we introduce you to, look at this, look, a .396. See, I'm already loving these numbers. From the number 46, Bentley Stewart, driving from England with his Fanatec CSL Elite. He is in P1 with 221 points for NXGen Series, and in P2, drum roll please, we have the other legend, Elliot, in the 44 Audi, currently in P4, again loving the numbers. Crossing that start-finish line at Laguna Seca, he is in second place in the current standings with 213 points. So he's 8 points behind Stewart, is the fellow NXGen. And we just see a none there as well. Of course, it's a pleasure to have Mr. 369. I think pulling to the side to let HANKIN through. And I think this is the first time I've actually ever seen Raul in the 369 BMW have the number 369, so I am happy to see that. So it looks like free practice is now over, so we are now jumping into qualifying session. We've got 46 Bentley eager to leave the pits here at Laguna Seca, as well as Kobe and HANKIN. Followed is the number 99 Lexus of Hempy, another absolute legend. And Hempy followed by the pit connoisseur, Kukan Lukan. Remembered. And Hempy taking the quick way out of the pits there for the beginning of qualifying. And in P3, with 212 points, 1 point behind P2 of Elliot HANKIN with 213, is Kobe. In the number 7 Ferrari GT3 488 Italia. What a beautiful machine it is. What a beautiful machine Fiat's create, eh? But he is 1 point behind the very quick Elliot Hankin in the... Hello. Kobe is now in hot pursuit of Stewart. Currently leading his championship, 221 points. Kobe, 212 points. 9 points separate them. So that's, you know, given how these races go and what happens, 9 points is not really going to be something to fight for. I think that whatever happens at the end of this race is going to drastically affect where these drivers need to place themselves for the finale of NXTGEN's Season 3 World Tour at Spa. And I'll also be at Spa myself this Sunday for the beginning of TM Cup, Macabre Cup Season 2. A little bit of a different format this time. I'm going to be driving as well, so we're going to get someone else to commentate, which will be nice. But we're going to be finding ourselves at Spa, which is interesting, so I can get a bit of a feel for it myself and get an understanding for what these boys have got to do. And in P4, my favourite position, of course, is the absolute speed demon. I think I should probably have the number 666. Is Mr. K Pincher, but he's not on Shank today, but he is in chat. Not sure why he's not driving, but nevertheless, he is in P4. Unsurprisingly, with 193 points, and the Professor in 5th place with 176 points. So if the Professor can fold his red paper horse today and blow on the House of Cards, then he's going to be in for a pretty solid position for the finale next week. And only 4 points behind the Professor with 172 points is Jamo in the 98 Ferrari. It's always a pleasure watching this guy. He seems to be in a lot of fights. He seems to be able to hold his own well. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how he fares today for the Laguna Seca round 13. And the pit connoisseur running 7th position in the standings with 150 points. Is HANKIN in the awesome looking Lexus. Purple programs. And Lely, who I cannot see, here today with 131 points. Can I see today? It's on the standings. So Nick in the 108 Bentley. Bentley with 109 points. And Kevin currently in the pits and currently with the fastest time here. 11th in the standings with 109 points. It's an interesting one. I think he's going to throw a spanner in the works for a few people today. it seems. Sorry, P12, 106 points. And Hempy, P15, 100 points. And Panda, 9 points. Points to his name. Watching from two perspectives today. I not only have my own, but I'm also watching this view as well. Streaming on Twitch is the number 7 Ferrari Koal Fighter Kobe. And he's currently in 7th position as the number 7 Ferrari. So it seems as though everyone out on track today is ensuring they get the best possible lap time they can. It's by no means going to be easy work for anyone today, but whoever sticks it out for the long haul, and someone who knows making one mistake is detrimental to your final position. We will see how the number 7 Ferrari does today as he crosses the start-finish line here at Laguna Seca. We'll see exactly where he can finish in the standings today, and we can just see the number 46 Bentley begin to exit the pits. And exiting the pits, but also taking top spot side by side with his fellow NXTGEN. We have Stewart and Elliott in the 44 and the 46, Audi and Bentley taking grid 1, provisional grid 1, with just over 10 minutes of qualifying left to go. And Kevin was in P1, but not even a 10th away, and he is first on the second grid side by side with the number 69 Ferrari. The Professor currently in P4, only 2/10 of a second away from Stewart's 123.088. Only 111 left to go of qualifying. Got the two Ferraris now battling it out, so we'll just jump on board with the Professor as we see the two Ferraris in shot. Question is, where are they going to end up at the end of the qualifying session here at Laguna Seca? And, qualifying position is most certainly crucial, and fingers crossed we have minimal collisions and accidents here today at Laguna Seca. We've got a bit of a interesting turn 1. It's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? One of the turns called the corkscrew, the famous downhill S of the corkscrew, and maybe that will claim victim to a few of the GT3 cars today, perhaps as fatigue and tyre wear comes into effect, and anyone that plays Assetto Corsa and uses a wheel will know it's no easy feat to do this for 60 minutes fast and not losing it once. It's an effort, so there's big respect for these boys that are racing today. And you know, it's been said quite a few times that Kobe now in 4th place, 168 off Stewart's P1, and Hempy in P6, not even 0.4 of a second away from P1. Just goes to show you how close these guys are. So the race pace is very different. But as I was saying, sim rigs that we're using today with regards to, you know, the Fanatec's and the Cinecubes and even the Logitech's, for God's sake. I mean, even that's a fantastic wheel that really does, in my opinion, accurately portray force feedback. Yes, I understand it's not military grade software, but the point is that it's been said many times, as I was watching on GT World only 3 or 4 days ago, I think it was, and they were saying how is so closely it mimics reality to the 10th degree. You know, they're saying it's the only difference is you're not there, you're not in a real car, you're obviously not feeling G-forces, but at the end of the day it's an incredible tool to learn, and it just goes to show that, you know, what these guys are doing are it's exactly the same as the real thing, especially if they're using good software, even like belt-driven CSL Elites, which seems to be the most common, which leads me on to, and I'm not endorsed by Fanatec or affiliated, but those should be, the new direct drive 5Nm with an 8Nm attachment booster pack is going to be the norm, the stock of the CSL Elite. So Gran Turismo 7 being released in a few months, I'd imagine that they're going to release a PS4 coding version for the direct drive, because that is as good as the big boys. You just don't need to use that much torque. Cracking reviews from Jardier, all that good stuff. But of course, with only 5 minutes left to go, Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari, knocking Stewart's 1:22.088 by just over a shave over a 1/10 of a second, pushing the 46 Bentley a couple of feet back on the start grid. Nevertheless, on the first grid, side by side, we have Kobe and Stewart. And third place is the 44 Audi. We've got Hankin next door to Kevin in the 34 Lexus, followed by the Professor, only 3/10, and Hempy just under 5/10. And Jamo, Lucan, and Nunn currently out on track. Nick in the 108 Bentley. Simon, the legend. Now, this is the Jerry Simon from Daiko's Discord, is that correct? Oh, look, listen to the roar of that BMW. Who haven't turned up. Turn that audio up a little bit more. Exterior engine on 100, that will do. Let's leave it as that. So Anun joining us again, obviously taking it easy. This dude is a quick dude and he is blessed to be a part of the next gen team, part of a team with some very quick dudes, giving Raul in the 369 sweet ass looking BMW M6 GT3 as we hear the exhaust notes sing its heart out here at Laguna Seca. Only a 1.3 off a very quick pace by the number 7 Ferrari. Mr. Pincher, you will be a spectator today. Well, I hope you have a lovely time, good sir. And you're a very quick dude, it must be said. I'd like to learn what it is you know, but nevertheless, we are on board with Professor Bean taking the first of the second row and taking the opportunity to go into the pits. Only a 129, only a 009 off Stewart in second position, putting Hempy now in fourth place with a 144 is the number 99 Lexus with only 72 seconds left to go. These boys are going to be pushing the final seconds out of this session here at Laguna Seca, and that's going to be an invalidation there for the 46 Bentley, so he's going to want to use his last lap after this one correctly as he now crosses and resets his invalidation. Let's see whether the 46 Bentley can improve on a P2. He needs to improve on a 1-2-0 to take Kobe's very quick 122.968 off a P1 spot. When the Professor taking that place and saying, yep, that's enough for me, gonna take a breather before the race starts, and putting him first on the second row of the grid next door to Hempy in the 99 Lexus, and third row on the grid is Hankin. So Hankin, Lager and Fighter, Kobe, Stewart and Elliott, they're all who we're going to be watching today. The 46 Bentley, the number 7 Ferrari and the 44 Audi. So hopefully Hankin has a good race start. We've got Kobe and Stewart. I wasn't sure what I saw there. Okie doke, so let me just take a photo. Oh dear, I don't know whether you even want me to say, but it does make me laugh. I think it must make you giggle as well, but nevertheless. We've got Kobe in P1, Stewart in P2, just over a tenth, and Professor in 69 Ferrari. Look how close he is to very nearly taking a grid 1 spot, but we have the Professor next door to Hempy in the 99 Lexus, a 144 off Kobe's very quick time. And HANKIN third on the grid, next door to Kevin in the 34 Lexus. And Jamo, the absolute legend in the 98 Ferrari, just under a second. And this dude's got some pretty incredible race pace and consistency. So that awesome looking matte black and a touch of red, perfect really for the Ferrari 488, is probably one to watch out for with regards to general driver prowess. But we have Anun next door to the Ferrari in the number 369 BMW. Lucan, the pit connoisseur in the 316 Lexus. Next to Nick in the 108 Bentley. And we're waiting for all drivers to now make their way onto track. And it is going to be a case of waiting for that first green of a formation lap here for the second to final race of the Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And every single one of these cars that you see on track today is it means business, you know. We're going to be treated to an absolutely incredible race. We've got HANKIN first on the third row of the grid, just behind the Professor and sandwiched between three Ferraris. That mid-ranged Audi is going to have to compete with the other mid-ranged Fiats, but we will see. Exactly how that plays out. But yes, this race, Simon, is the race before the final race next Wednesday, in which they will be doing a 2-hour endurance at Spa, and there will also be a 24-hour in-game time clock. So I'll be there for that one. I'll be streaming that one. And yeah, hopefully we're going to be treated to a good one. And of course we're jumping on board with Stuart, again driving from the UK with his CSL Elite. I can't remember whether it was the McLaren or F1 type wheel, but the GT3-esque wheel. I have the CSL Elite, but I have the standard round wheel, and it is not good for this game. It's very tiring. Perfect for drifting, perfect for rally, but not necessarily for GT3. Still good though. But he is waiting for that green here at Laguna Seca. And I don't know whether you were aware, but I will mention again. One of your favourites. Do you race on Assetto Corsa, Simon? I'm going to be finding myself at Spa this Sunday as well, so I'm going to be on track. I'm going to be racing with the two on front grid, actually, funnily enough, and Hempy and a few others from the TM Cup. So I'm going to get a real good feel to the efforts that it actually takes to do a 2-hour endurance race at Spa. But all engines have now ignited, thousands of horsepowers have lit up, and the hills of Laguna Seca sing with the roar of the unbaffled GT3 weaponry that is now making their way round the formation lap here for the second to last race of the Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. Scarier than GT Sport. This is a simulator. I mean, this is it, isn't it? This is a simulator, and I have a mad respect for the people that can race for the time they do. The the speeds that they do and the pressure they're under, I have a mad respect. For what they do is extremely impressive. But Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari 488 GT3 weapon. Who is next door to Stewart in the 46 Bentley. To warm my shoulders up. Currently leading the series standings, and we have the number 44 Audi just behind the Professor in P3, currently second in the standings. So the 7 Ferrari, 46 Bentley and 44 Audi are the ones that we really want to be watching out for today. If the Professor has a good race, he is going to be in for a pretty decent finish for the 2-hour endurance. And if I remember when I saw him race last time for the 2-hour endurance in the 69 Ferrari, he did an absolutely incredible job. So this is going to be one to watch out for. But all drivers are now lining up in the 2x2 formation, and we are waiting for that infamous
green light, shine.
Green, green, green as the Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour is underway. Kobe in the 7 Ferrari side by side with the 46 Bentley currently leading the championships. Do we make turn 1 or are we going to have a struggle? It looks like everyone has managed to get through turn 1 and 2 and 2 clearly. Kobe still in the lead of Stewart in the 46 Bentley, 0.3 of a second, but Stewart, as you all know who have seen these race before, is one to watch for the long haul. It's not about making that position early on, he is about the long race. But that said, he will defend his position. And we've got the Professor in P3, still holding on to P3, Hempy in P4, Hankin still in P5, Kevin in P6. No positions have changed as of yet. Kobe going through the corkscrew, the 46 Bentley gonna get a track warning for that, but we've got the Professor looking on the inside but deciding no, that was a little bit too risky. We've got Hempy in the background still chasing Hankin, who has now made that position into 4th position and is now chasing the Professor. So Hankin already making 1 position up. We'll jump on board with him because he needs to make positions early. We've got Nick just running wide through the penultimate corners there. And now Hankin in P4 is the number 44 Audi. Is he going to be able to capitalize on 3rd place, bronze position in the early rounds of the GT3 World Tour here at Laguna Seca? Andretti hairpin, Rahal straight. But nevertheless, we continue as they make their way under the mother's sign. We've got the 99 Lexus running wide, but able to hold on to the Lexus. 2 Lexuses behind the 44 Audi are still battling it out. Kobe still in P1, the 46 Bentley still in P2, and the Professor, a little bit of a gap between him and Stewart. I know those two are good friends, so it's going to be interesting to see this one plan play out. But we've just seen the 44 Audi flash the Ferrari of the Professor there. Maybe he just wants to get up in there early on and fight for points and get up there with Stewart, but we will see how that passes. He's done it. He has allowed Hankin to pass. Now that is what you call brotherly love, as the number 69 Ferrari shows Elliott in the 44 Audi what respect truly means here at the final of 2 races for Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And we've got Kevin in pursuit of the Professor now, and we jump into the helmet cam and see exactly what the UK driver Elliott is seeing as he now makes his way through the right-hand section of Laguna Seca. And now in pursuit is the three that are leading the Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour in the 46 Bentley. Going loose. Has the 44 Audi got a run? Not quite, but he has made a few tenths and some car lengths up there, and has well and truly got within the slipstream range of the 46 Bentley, and that's going to have increased his BPMs a few. He's gone defensive. What's the 44 Audi going to do here? It's still early days, but look how close these two are now. They are fighting it out. So perhaps this is what the 44 Audi wanted and has now got, and that means that Kobe has now got some breathing room, taking P1 and now gapping Next Gen's 46 Bentley after clipping that sausage, putting him a 1.345 away from the absolute speed demon that is Kobe in the number 7. And you can see on the LCD screen flashing in all of its golden glory the 001. But as I said before, the 46 Bentley is by no means out of the race. 1.6 seconds to this man is nothing, but 2.5 seconds now separate Elliott and Stewart, and it looks like he's gonna go for the move. He's on the inside, but is he able to make it stick? He's side by side. It looks like he's made it stick. Is Stewart giving him the position? Is he just going to do that long haul like I said? Is he going to allow him to get through because he just thinks, do you know what, he's got pace, I'm going to allow him to get through? And are we now going to see the 44 Audi and the 46 Bentley amongst the Professor and Kevin and Hempy catch up to the speed demon that is Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari? But nevertheless, we are being treated to an absolutely incredible race. Stewart currently in P3, very early days for Laguna Seca, but he is leading the Next Gen Series by 13-14 points-ish. I will check soon. And Kobe, I will just check now, how about that? Next Gen's HANKIN in P2 with 213 points, 8 points behind Stewart and also in front of Stewart, and Kobe disappearing into the Netherlands. Currently in P3 with 212 points, only 1 point behind HANKIN. And the Professor with 176 points, and Jamo with 172 points. It's like I said, we're going to be treated to an incredible race here. And if I'm honest with you, it looks as though the Professor is finding his pace, and Kevin, I'm not sure whether the 46 Bentley has just been shaken, not stirred, or whether it's just been put under pressure from the rest of the boys here. But Kobe and now HANKIN are pulling away, and the Professor and Kevin and Lucan are all now in the mix with the Next Gen's series leader, Stewart, in the 46 Bentley. What an incredible turnout this is. And of course we can still see the 44 Audi and the number 7 Ferrari just ahead. But nevertheless, just what an incredible turn of events we're being treated to today. So I was just processing a few things and the actual standings, and now we have the Professor hunting Stewart down. Now this is the question I've got. If the 69 Ferrari's got pace, you know, is he going to take it, or is he going to allow Stewart to hold on to that position and therefore place? Beautiful helmet, Professor. But nevertheless, we see Kevin in the 34 Lexus, well within slipstream range, and not even 10 minutes have gone by, so expect to see some drama unfold as we continue to watch events unfold. Kevin in the 34 Lexus is doing an incredible job. How stable he looks. And of course, as I mentioned, we have Jamo. Well and truly in the mix. Just out of slipstream range it appears, but nevertheless still within a very good pouncing range and fighting range. Oh, as he just loses the rear end, which means he's going to lost a couple of car lengths, and the couple of Lexuses fighting it out. We've got Hempy and Lucan, both absolute living legends in the opposite coloured Lexuses, fighting it out, so they're going to provide some action for us. I will keep my eye on those two as we see the rest of this race progress, as he makes the 0.9 of a gap, now 1.2 a deficit to Hempy. We jump on board to Kevin, who is head down, eyes up in the 34 Lexus as he continues to make his way. And I don't know whether we just saw the 69 Ferrari flash the 46 Bentley. And I'm just curious to what Stewart's lost. Three seconds to Elliott and another 5.7 seconds to Kobe. I just don't know whether he's gone for the wrong setup, whether he's not feeling it. Nevertheless, they're still up there. The long race is here. I know myself, if you make one tiny error, that's your position gone. But you must stay on track. You must continue and finish the race. Grit your teeth and bear through the pain of motorsport that we all feel. It looks like the Professor and Kevin are running a cracking race, and as those three begin to fight it out, 3, 4 and 5, P6 is forever just lurking in the back, waiting for his moment, and he can very, very easily take a P3 here today, but nevertheless we will continue as we are closing in on the quarter way mark. very interesting turn of events. We've still got Stewart in the 46 Bentley, able to hold off in P3. But the 69 Ferrari is still within pouncing range, as he struggled to keep that Ferrari. Stability then, but coming up to the penultimate corner here at Laguna Seca and applying all of close to 600 horsepower and crossing that start-finish line here at Laguna Seca. We still are seeing no change in position. A little bit of a gap now between Kevin, who also has taken a very nice line there. Lexus has lost one of the other ones, it seems, and it also seems that Kobe is off in the wind. Just saw him there, that camera shot, right up top. Not in that one though, so he's well and truly on his way to golden glory if he can continue to impress us here at Laguna Seca. And again, we've only got 2 rounds left to go. So points are absolutely 44 minutes left to go. The Professor won at 4:44 of the 46 Bentley, 2 seconds behind Elliott in the 44 Audi, who is... So we've got Kevin side by side with the Ferrari, the Lexus and the Ferrari battling it out for position as they make their way up towards the Andretti hairpin, and the Lexus shutting out the 98 Ferrari through the exit of the Andretti hairpin and up to turn 3. Very awkward corner, not much camber to use there, so you have to be able to make sure you've got enough stability and grip through your Pirelli softs to get the best exit you possibly can. But nonetheless, the 98 Ferrari is still within pouncing range of the 34 Lexus of Kevin, and we now see Hempy in the camera shot, joining the party with the other fellow Lexus and Ferrari. Stewart now only a 0.8 from Hankin. This is absolutely gonna shake the series standings up. I can tell you that much for sure. Take a 2-minute breather, and while I do, if anything happens, I will of course join back. We of course still have the Professor at 0.5 in NXTGEN, now losing 0.4 of a second, but now gaining another 0.2 of a second from Hankin. But it appears as though Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari. And of course, we've got to give love to Paul, the Helicam man, joining us again at Laguna Seca. Money's all paid for his flights, hotels, all expenses paid. And I hope you're doing well, Paul. You're doing another cracking job, my friend. But we're here to see an onboard lap from the race leader that is what you can only call an absolute living legend as he goes under the mother's sign, passing the Fanatec endorsed signage, and now under the Assetto Corsa Competizione. As we all know, laser scanned tracks, we find ourselves on the latest 2020 track here at Laguna Seca. You see exactly just what it takes. To be as quick as he is, and Eagle, he'll be able to hear all of the GT3 cars' engines roar as they make their way past the start straight finish, and we can just see HANKIN still in the background. And of course we've still got 10 minutes to go before we get to the halfway mark. We've got a pit window opening, and of course that is where you will see a few change of hands. Everyone beginning to seem to just get in the natural race pace. Straightening that car up and unleashing close to 600 horsepower as that golden 001 still blinks away, indicating his driving prowess here at Laguna Seca. And I believe we have just over 4 minutes to go before the pit window opens, as the race leader crosses the start finish line. 38 minutes to go here for round 13 of the NXTGEN Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And Jamo still putting pressure under Kevin. Professor and NXGen a solid second, so we'll jump on board with the closest race for a few moments. Come back in a minute. We've got a pretty solid race going on between the Lexus and the Ferrari. Kevin and Jamo fighting it out at Laguna Seca for the NXTGEN boys, and we can still see the Professor continue to put pressure in his Ferrari 488 with the Bentley GT3. And of course we're just very rapidly closing into the halfway mark. We've got just over 36 minutes left to go. That pit window will be opening up in 1 minute 40 seconds. Can Jamo make that position before the pit window opens? And can the Professor make that deficit of a second before he jumps into the pits? And we see an inevitable change of hands, as I do know that if you've got the pits controls on manual and you absolutely nail it, you are going to be in and out as quick as possible. And then if you've hit your tyre temps right, and you've got the correct amount of fuel, then you are going to be in for a cracking race. But we will wait and find out. We will wait and see whether Jamo can overtake Kevin in the Lexus as they make their way over the roller coaster section of Laguna Seca, onto the brakes, downhill into the Andretti hairpin. Late apex, want to be clipping that apex there and applying the power as early as we can so we maximize the track. Clipping that apex, what a beautiful sound it is. If you don't hear that brrr, you've not quite got the perfect line. Oh, that's going to give him a little bit of dirty tyres on the left side. It is a left corner though, so his right hand tyres are going to be doing the most of the work. Is he able to hold off here, or can the Ferrari get a decent run as they make their way up to the left-hand straight leading onto the Rahal straight? And the pit window are now open. Kobe still in P1, only a 5-second gap. I mean, it's an incredible gap for a very quick driver in a very quick car in the 44 Audi, but nevertheless it's only 5 seconds, which can be taken away very quickly in the blink of an eye. So we will see how we progress with just over 9 minutes to go of a pit window. We're going to see some change of hands happen. HANKIN. Now the Professor in P3, taking that position away from Stewart, the current leader of the NXTGEN GT3 World Tour Series Championship, with a pretty solid lead. But another position down is going to affect his standings, and Kobe in P1. Currently P3 on the standings, 1 point behind HANKIN in P2. In today's race at Laguna Seca, we are tread to an incredible turn of events, but like I say, we have a pit window open. We've got the 46 Bentley, who is always a pit master. We call him the pit connoisseur as well, but for different reasons than the legend in the 316 Lexus, Lucan. But we have the Professor taking P3 before any car enters the pits, and HANKIN in P2. So we're going to be tread to some incredible racing as we continue to watch events unfold, and Jamo able to capitalise on another 2 cents of a second towards the very quick Kevin in the 34 Lexus, and we can see Hempy beautiful pink bow ties. That says his personality very, very, very much indeed. And he's driving a Lexus, but he's also endorsing Nissan today with his Nissan endorsed gloves. Nissan Nismo gloves, sponsored by Sparco, driving his Lexus, and it's always a pleasure to see him today. He's on a CSL Elite, driving from England, and Kobe on a Thrustmaster T300, I believe. Jamo and Kevin are having an incredible race together. Alrighty, so Hempy first in the pits. And during a race, he has decided to be... he has decided to be a pit connoisseur. Now, my friend, you get mad respect for that. Doing a donut while during a race, I mean, you absolute legend. First in the pits is the 99 Lexus. Kobe's still out on track. Lucan in the 316 Lexus. The pit connoisseur, who I hope will be treating us to some donuts at the end of the race, with the race winner. But Hempy now leaving the pits. And we've got Kobe making his way past that start finish, and he is going to be making his way up to the first of the bag markers here, as we are 11 seconds away from the halfway point of Next Gen's Season 3. We're getting a flash from the race leader, and Hempy obliging, showing that brotherly love to Kobe, as you now see Hempy with fresh rubber begin to put that pedal to the metal, with just over 29 minutes left to go, crossing the Rahul Straight into the corkscrew. You can see how straight the Ferrari is there, exiting the corkscrew. We've got Jamo and Lucan in the pits. Be interesting to see where the 98 Ferrari comes out, as he was putting in the fights. And here we see the race leader now begin to make that decision to go in the pits, as well as HANKIN, the professor, deciding to stay out with 4 minutes of a pit window left to go. But do we see anyone else? Yes, we've got Kevin joining us with just over 3 minutes of a pit window left to go. Putting the professor in provisional P1, we've got Stewart in P2, and only 1.7 behind the professor, who is having a cracking race today in P1 for the majority of the free practice session streamed earlier. But now everyone leaving the pits. Kobe now exiting, as well as HANKIN right behind Kobe. There he goes, as well as HANKIN. But where is Stewart? They're just going through the corkscrew. Well, that has changed things up, hasn't it? A 1.8 deficit between P1 and P2 now. But are we going to see a repeat of history between last week's race, where Kobe just continued to pull away? Or are we now going to see a change of hands, and HANKIN in P2 in the standings, 1 point ahead of Kobe, P3 in the standings. Change in position, so I do think we're going to see a change in the standings. Both drivers taking incredible lines there. Do we see a change in the 1.8 second deficit? We will find out. We've still got Professor and Stewart to go into the pits with just over a minute of a pit window left to go. So I assume they're going to be into the pits with this one, so it's going to be interesting to see where they come out compared to Kobe and Elliot. Nick also in the pits, and Jamo in P6, making his way up to P5. Lucan 4 seconds deficit behind Jamo, and Kevin and Hempy into the pits as predicted. the helicam man. Getting you a helicam shot of Laguna Seca pits. And of course we will jump back on board with P1, who now makes his way up to the corkscrew. HANKIN 2.5 seconds, 0.7 of a second lost when we were last on board. But where do they come out now as they pass the pit entrance? Minutes left to go. So we just saw them there begin to make their way out the pits.
Did you know he's down coast?
But Stuart is out before. Stuart has made a position on the Professor. With just under 25 minutes left to go. Is the Professor able to collect that 1.7 deficit, well 1.963 deficit to the 46 Bentley with 24 minutes left to go? And can Stuart hunt down Elliott? Will we see mistakes? As I mentioned earlier, it is an incredible feat watching these drivers do what they do for as long as they do it. Days. Sit back and relax. Well, now would be a good time to run through qualifying standings. We know that Kobe, HANKIN and Stuart are the ones to watch. Kobe took pole position with a 1:22.968. He was next door to Stuart, 1:20 behind, followed by the Professor, Hempy, HANKIN, Kevin, Jamo, Anun, Hukan, Lucan and Nick. And we're rapidly closing in on that third of a way to go mark. And HANKIN very close to 4 seconds now behind Kobe, who's running an absolutely blitz of a race. And of course the pit connoisseur Cannot miss Lucan with those rims. Beautiful sound as well. Never actually heard the real life sound of the GT3 Lexus or Ferrari. But the Audi, Bentley, Austin Martin, beautiful sounds they have. And we're now closing into the 20 minutes of the race to go. We'll show a little bit of love to number 316. As he makes his way up to the penultimate corner of Laguna Seca. Continues to hunt down the Ferrari of Jamo. We're very closely closing in on the final 15 minutes. The final 25% of the NXGen GT3 World Tour. And the top three are still top three, both in the series and here today at Laguna Seca. As we jump on board with P1, a very smooth exit there onto the Rahal Straight and up towards the corkscrew. Getting that Ferrari as straight as possible, planting all 600 plus horsepower down, maximising track width. Absolutely glorious sound that Ferrari makes. You can see the suspension make their micro movements. That Ferrari is just not under any sweat at all. How smooth. Kobe has the Ferrari 488 here at Laguna Seca, crossing that mother's board and now hurtling towards the WeatherTech bridge, and you can still see Hankin and Stewart in the background there. You can hear the 44 Audi sing its heart out as he chases down P1 of Kobe. And NXGEN's Lager only 1.2 seconds away from a P2, and look how much he closed the gap there to the penultimate corner here at Laguna Seca. And now they hurtle their way down the start-finish straight and making their way up to the Andretti hairpin, as we now see the Bentley battle it out between the Audi. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we tread to some action at the penultimate section here for NXGEN Season 3 GT3 World Tour. We've got the number 44 and 46 battling it out for P2 now. We still see the Professor still within shot of even a P2 if all goes south between the 44 and 46 as they continue to battle it out through the final sections. And the Bentley seems to have that penultimate corner down to a T, closing the section as they now begin to hurtle their way down the start-finish section of Laguna Seca. Hard on the brakes, a very tricky section to keep control of the stability. And look how close he is now to Elliott. He is going to be making Elliott sweat. Under the Cooper tyre sign do they go into the right hand section where you just want to be holding off the accelerator but keeping the stability. And under the mother's sign, and now we see the 46 Bentley begin to apply that pressure and mind games to Elliott in the 44 Audi. Incredible. We've got just over 12 minutes of a race left to go. I wouldn't have thought that the 46 Bentley would necessarily want to be making any moves as of yet. So a couple of Lexuses in the pits there as well, Hempy and Kevin. But I wouldn't have thought he wants to be making any moves as of yet with over 12 minutes of racing left to go. But applying pressure is a great tactic, and it looks as though he is within shot. And now the flash. And Hankin getting his head down, making sure. Looks like he's got a few car lengths there. So whatever he has done there to capitalise on a quick few corners seems to have worked. But can he get that time back? The Professor. Look at this. We've got the three cars back at it for the fight for P2. What an incredible turn of events it is under the final sections of NXGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And I'm going to have to go quiet for a minute just to get my energy back for the final stretch. But of course I leave you with the incredible sights and sounds for a few moments here as we continue to watch the Bentley battle it out with the Audi for P2. Running wide. Does that mean that the 46 Bentley? Look at this. Surely he's going to make a move unless we see the 44 go defensive, which means we've got the Bentley. Side by side. With P2, can he close that distance to the 44 Audi? Can the British driver, as they make their way into the left-hander and up towards the Rahal Straight? They were side by side, but now what an incredible section that is for the Bentley, and look at both drivers capitalizing on as much of that track width as they have available. Well, we've got 8 minutes left to go. And we've got an incredible fight for P2. Beautiful corner there by the 44 Audi. I can imagine all of these drivers are going to be, their heartbeats are going to be elevated, they're going to be under pressure, they're going to be knowing points are on the line. We've still got Professor well and truly showing his racing prowess here today at Laguna Seca. And look how close the 46 Bentley is, but can he get that exit? Chasing the 44 Audi into the right-hand section, clipping that apex, making sure you misses the sausage under the Cooper tyre section into the next right-hander where you want to be holding off on the acceleration, planting that foot down towards that mother's sign into the left-hand section. A little bit of camber, but quite a heavy momentum zone. gobsmacked with what we're seeing with just over 5 minutes left to go. So we've got Kevin and Hempy watching from the pits. 46 Bentley with another incredible line. Nick still being an absolute trooper. HANKIN Lucan, the pit connoisseur, making his way through the Andretti hairpin. Jammer in the 98 Ferrari in P5. Just behind the fight for P2 is the Professor, hunting down P40, sorry, the number 46 and the number 44 in P2 and 3. And of course Kobe still in P1 with an 11-second deficit with over 4 minutes left to go. But we have to jump back on board with this incredible fight as we now come up to the final. Whew. And closing section of the NXGen GT3 World Tour, and the 46 Bentley is putting the pressure on Elliott. And all three drivers here in the Audi, Bentley and Ferrari are all joining us today from the UK. Look at the speed. Oh no! The Professor! The house of cards have fallen on the final 3 minutes. You can't take away his effort. What an incredible race he has run, but that means that it is down to these two absolute animals as the number 44 Audi runs a little bit wide and is giving the run to the Bentley. We're going to be seeing some side-by-side action there. The 44 Audi has taken the defensive line. The 46 Bentley, 44 Audi taking that position back, making sure he can maximise on that exit speed, but nevertheless both drivers going on towards the Cooper tyre sign into the right hand section, and the 46 Bentley just touching the sausage there, which has now given another gap. No way. Oh my god, it is all kicking off. We are staying on board with these two as they fight it out. For P2 and the 46 Bentley in P1 for NXTGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour Series standings. Currently leading and winning by 13 points. And in P2 in the standings is Kobe, who is P1 with a little bit left to go. Let's see whether these drivers can hang on to such an incredible race and standings here. Oh my good god, he's side by side! Oh, he's side by side with the 44 Audi. And I mean, I'm going to assume he left him enough room there, but I guess Elliott under the pressure, and I know that when you are side by side with someone, the telemetry and the brain power it takes to hold on to that position. But he's got a pretty decent gap now as the 46 Bentley, as the 44 Audi continues to hurl his way through the corkscrew and up to the final sections of Laguna Seca.
Right, man, but either he's on the final lap.
It means that Kobe taking P1 with 42 laps, now on the final lap. And section here at Laguna Seca Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour with a 15-second deficit. But can HANKIN, a 1.8-second deficit. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. If that stays as it does, we're gonna see the fight between Kobe, Stewart and Elliott, and most certainly the Professor and Jamo. But Kobe and Stewart are going to be in for a fight as Kobe crosses the start finish line and takes P1 here at Laguna Seca. And now we see the 46 Bentley as he gives us a flash to the cameraman, taking P2, as well as Elliott's 44 Audi in P3, as well as Jamo and the Professor, followed by Lucan taking P6, and Nick taking home a P7. Here at Laguna Seca, so we are going to be tread to an incredible fight between these three next week for the 2-hour special, and final. Because those standings are going to be very close, but congratulations to this absolute beast taking home a P1. And also a 14-second gap between P1 and a P2 of Stewart. What an incredible race! And of course, HANKIN in P3, Jamo in P4, and congratulations and well done to everyone from all over the world joining us today for Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour, and we're trapped with the final next week as we see HANKIN give us all a flash. What a legend. And now we see all the boys give us what we want. Some celebratory donuts. And of course the man that does it best, look at that. That's a perfect donut. And of course this dude, Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari. I'm assuming Lucan must have his foot on the brakes, because that is a perfect donut. And well done to Kobe taking home P1 and running away from the rest of the pack. Gonna put him into pretty good standings. Full log. for the final next week for the 2-hour event at Spa. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope to see you next week for the final 2-hour endurance 24-hour in-game time special. I will be commentating. And yeah, I can't believe I've seen what I've seen today. I do. I most certainly hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, we're going to be, like I say, I'm going to be on track myself on Sunday for the Macabre Cup Season 2 at Spa. And seeing what it's like for these boys to do a 2-hour endurance, the mad lads. We'll see how that one progresses. But thank you to everyone that's watched. Thank you to everyone that smashed that like button. I most certainly do appreciate it. It does help me. And we will see you next Wednesday for a 2-hour special at Spa. Ciao, ciao. And well done, Kobe. You mad lad.